triathletes, welcome back to another session with TriathlontesSA, where today's video will be bike specific, so stay tuned as I share some knowledge and tips with you guys, so that you guys don't make the same mistakes as I did when I started out in triathlon.
To accomplish something extraordinary, one must have an extraordinary dream. Ironman inspires us to reimagine our limits, to set our sights higher, to go farther than we ever have before. Ironman is a statement of excellence, passion, commitment. It is a test of physical toughness and mental strength. Ironman is about persevering, enduring, and being a part of something larger than ourselves. It shows the heights that can be achieved when we push beyond our boundaries and go the distance to earn the title Ironman.
So let's start. First off, there's 3 different bikes that you guys can use when completing your triathlon. The first would be a mountain bike, and as I stated before, there's nothing wrong with still using your mountain bike when completing a triathlon. Then the second bike that we're going to focus on is a normal road bike. Lots of people still complete their triathlons on a road bike, and there's nothing wrong with completing your triathlon on a road bike. I actually did my first 3 triathlons all on road bikes. The only thing that I did was I added some tri bars just to stay aero and make my drag as less as possible. I'll speak a bit later about them, but the road bike is also a very nice choice when completing your triathlons. You'll see that you'll have your brakes and your gears over here. A very important thing to remember when you buy a road bike, there's different types of road bikes. First, you'll get a full alloy road bike, or you can get a carbon road bike, or you can have the best of both, as I have a carbon fork in front and a carbon rear at the back as well. So the bike isn't as heavy as a normal alloy bike, but also not as expensive as a complete carbon bike. So when you buy a road bike, the second thing that you need to look at is the size of the bike. You first need to go and figure out which size of bike will fit you best, and I'll also put a link in the description where you guys can go and check out which size of bike you should buy for your height. Then the third thing that you need to consider is the gear ratio on the bike, as you'll get 7 speed, 8 speed, 9 speed, 10 speed and 11 speed, and most recently 12 speed has surfaced as well. So how do you determine what speed your bike is? If you go at the back of your cassette, you can count how many cogs your cassette have, and that will tell you how many speed your bike is. I would suggest that you rather buy a 10 or an 11 speed, as the 7, 8 and 9 speed you would struggle to find parts for them on the market. And then the last type of bike that you guys can buy while completing a triathlon would be a triathlon specific bike. You'll see that the setup is completely different from that of a road bike, as it's more compact over here to put you into that aero position and also open up your hips as well. So just make sure that when you convert your road bike to a TT bike, that you go for a setup again, as the setup would look different than just a normal road bike. The biggest difference between a road bike and a TT bike is that their gears and their brakes would be separate. So the brakes you'll find down on the down tube, and the gear selection you'll find here at the top. So that's the main difference between a TT bike and a road bike, and the setup is completely different as well. Once again, you can go and complete your triathlon in 4 different types of shoes. First off, if you don't have any cycling shoes, you can use your normal running shoes for completing your triathlon. But for today's purposes, I'm going to focus on the different types of shoes that you get out there for cycling. So first off, you'll get your mountain bike shoes, then your road shoes, and then your triathlon specific shoes. So when you look at mountain bike shoes, I have 2 different options over here. First off is a very old service pair of cycling shoes, and this is a bit newer Scott type of cycling shoe. This one has more the flexibility of a running shoe, and this one's a very stiff shoe. You'll also see that there's different ways to fasten them. And then next, let's look at the road shoes. I have a pair of Scott with a carbon sole, and you'll see that they look a bit different than your mountain bike shoes. On top, mountain bike one's a bit bulkier, but if you turn them around, you'll see that you'll be able to walk on your mountain bike shoe, but the road bike shoe has a different sole at the bottom. So I won't suggest that you walk on this, as it would break easily. And then lastly, your tri-specific shoe, you'll see that this one once again looks different than the road shoe. And at the bottom as well, you'll see that the triathlon shoe has a small heel at the bottom that you use to walk on. And then when you look specifically at the triathlon shoe, you'll see that it's much easier to open and close, and also that there's lots of ventilation holes on the front and at the bottom as well. So this is a shoe specifically made for triathlon. You can also use this loop here to tie it to your bike if you want to put your shoe on your bike in your transition area. And then when we move on to helmets, you get two specific types of helmets out there. Your normal helmets that you can use on a road bike or a mountain bike or a TT bike, or a TT specific helmet. The first thing that you need to remember when buying a helmet is you need to look at the size. So on the inside of the helmet, you'll see the sizing of the helmet. It will either say small, medium, large, extra large, etc., or it will be specified in centimeters. So if it's specified in centimeters, you can just take the circumference of your head and measure that and look to the inside of the helmet to see whether that one would fit you. And the second thing, you must just make sure that you put on the helmet correctly. If you turn it to the side, you'll see that there's some mechanism at the back that you can use to tighten and loosen your helmet. So make sure that this part is at the back of your helmet, and some helmets might have a visor in front. Then you can also tighten and loosen the straps around your face so it does not shave you, as everyone's head is different. Then if you move on to the time trial specific helmet, you'll see I have one from Cast, and you'll see that it is very aero as well. Some of them might have a visor that can just click on and off. In other helmets the visor might be stuck, and some do not have a visor. The difference between this one and a normal road bike helmet is that this one has less areas where ventilation can come in. So you'll see this one only has small ventilation shapes at the top, but otherwise the helmet is actually very closed up. So this one would be a much hotter on your head to wear than your normal road bike helmet, but it's also down to personal preference. And once again, you just need to look at the size of the helmet on the inside and make sure that you buy the correct one for your head. It doesn't matter which helmet you use in a race. So if you want to take your aero a notch higher, you can invest in an aero helmet. Otherwise, a normal road or mountain bike helmet should be sufficient for your triathlon races. And then when we move on to clothing, you can invest in a nice tight fitting jersey that you can use for cycling. You'll see at the back of the cycling jersey there's a couple of pockets that you can use to either put your nutrition or some stuff that you might need on your bike ride. Then you guys can also note that there's two different types of cycling shorts. This one is a bib that goes around your head, so this one's a bit longer and would fit tightly around your body. Whereas when you buy a normal cycling short, you'll see that it doesn't have something that goes around your shoulders. So this one would be much easier if you need to go to the loo. And then next, let's look at the difference between your normal cycling shorts and triathlon specific shorts. So when you look at triathlon specific shorts, you'll see that the padding of a triathlon specific short are much smaller than that of your cycling short. So if you put them together, you can see the difference in padding between the cycling short and the triathlon short. And when you look on the inside, you'll see that the difference in padding is also major, as your cycling short has much bigger and thicker padding than your triathlon shorts. So if you want to race in this triathlon specific short, make sure that you train in them as well, so your body gets used to less padding at the back. So that's the main difference between triathlon shorts and your cycling shorts. I would suggest that you buy yourself a pair of cycling shorts to train in, and when you race, just replace them with triathlon specific shorts. Then you'll get two different types of jerseys out there. You'll see I have one that's sleeveless. So this is a sleeveless jersey from First Ascent. Once again, it's a road one, so you'll find some pockets at the back where you can put in your nutrition or some stuff you need to take along cycling. And then you can also invest in a pair of triathlon specific clothing. You'll see that it's much more breathable and the material is a bit different than normal cycling clothing. This one is one from Compress Sport, and you'll see it's also a light color, as darker colors makes you burn much easier if you have a long race. Then I spoke about the tri suit as well, so you can also use a tri suit when completing in a race. You will see that it's a one piece, and once again the padding isn't as thick as with your normal cycling shorts. And then some info for the ladies. You'll see that I've cut out the bra piece on the inside, as that makes it a bit easier for me if I need to go to the loo. So I'll just wear a normal waterproof type of bra underneath, and then it's much easier when I need to go to the loo. And then the last piece of gear that I want to look at is a cycling jersey specifically made for the wind, so you can put this over your normal jersey and it would help deflect the wind if there's strong winds out there. Some people might also use them for rain, as it's waterproof as well, so it might protect you against some of the wet weather that we have in South Africa. Then let's look at some of the smaller type of clothing that you might use for cycling. First off, let's look at the socks. There's 3 different types of socks that you guys can wear. You can wear normal short type of socks, or if you prefer ones that has a bit of padding at the bottom to soak up the water, or if you want to wear something that's more half of your calf length as well. So that's the 3 different types of socks that you can wear. I really like the short ones, as it's very easy to put them on and take them off. And then something that you might have heard people use in races as well is compression socks. That will help with leg cramping or help your muscles recover after a training session. So there's 2 different ones out there. You can get yourselves a pair of compression socks that only covers from the ankle to the knee, or you can go and buy yourself a pair that covers the part of your feet as well. Just make sure that when you use the ones that has the sock at the bottom in a race, that you then need to run with them when you enter the ocean and exit the ocean. So I would use these for after a training session, or using them at home, or for traveling, as they help with your legs when you travel as well. But when I compete in a race, I'll rather wear the short ones, as you can wear them while swimming as well. And then something else that you guys can wear if you want to protect your skin against the sun, or if it's very cold outside and you don't want to wear a jacket, you can wear a pair of arm warmers. Just make sure that there's different types of arm warmers out there as well. You get breathable ones, and then you get ones that look like ski pant material. So you can buy these at your local sports shop as well, and use them either in the winter or in the summer if you don't want tan marks. And then a buff is also a very nice investment. Some people will put it on their head, and it will help with the winter cold as well, or keep the sweat on your head instead of running down your face. Or there's a smaller type of one that you can invest on to put on your head as well, that will also help your head stay warm and keep the sweat on top. Then the second last thing is a pair of gloves. There's different types of gloves out there. You can either have ones that you wear that has your fingers open at the bottom, or full-size gloves that you can wear in the winter, or some people like to wear them in the summer as well. And you'll see at the back of the cycling gloves is a bit padded, and some of them also has a small towel piece at the side that you can use to wipe your face if you sweat a lot. Then the last piece of gear that I need to talk about is something that you can use in a race. So if you are competing in a race, usually you'll have your race number on your jersey. So this is just a racing belt that you can buy. This one is from Compress Sport, and you can pin your racing number on here as well. So when you exit the T1, you can just take your belt, put it around your waist and run out. If you don't want to invest in a belt, you can also use a small piece of string as well, and then just tie that around your waist when you exit T1. So this is just something nice to have, but you're more than welcome to pin it to your clothing, or use a piece of string to put it around your waist. Then when we look at carrying your nutrition while you train or in a race, there's a couple of different methods that you can take on your nutrition. First of all, you can use the normal water bottles. You'll see this one's just a normal water bottle, and this is a Camel water bottle. This will just keep your nutrition colder for a bit longer, as it's isolated on the inside. Then when we move on to tri-specific nutrition bottles, you'll see I have 2 different ones out there. The one will be between your aero bars, and the other one will be synced down between your aero bars. I'll show you a different couple of mounts a bit later on that you can use if you want to use tri-bar specific nutrition. Then you can also use specific bags to put your nutrition on your bike as well. I have 2 different ones. One's from Topic, that will be on top of my top tube, and there's one from Momsen as well. So if you look at the one from Topic, it will just open up and you can put your nutrition on the inside, all your gels or whatever you want. Or the one from Momsen will just open up and you can also put your nutrition on the inside. Lastly, you can also use a Camelback with a bladder. So this will be put on the back of your back, and you can put all your nutrition inside here as well, because it will have a bladder that's between 1.5 and 3 liters. Then let's look at a couple of stuff that you can use on your bike. Let's first start off with shaving. So once again, there's 2 different things that you can use for shaving. You can either use some normal Vaseline, or some anti-shaving cream. I use baby bum cream as it's much cheaper than anti-shaving cream, and it does exactly the same. The next up, something that I always have with me is either 1 or 2 or 3 cable ties, as well as isolation tape. Cable ties might save your life, as if something breaks you can just quickly tape it with a cable tie. Then next up, let's quickly look at your tires. If you have a mountain bike that's not tubeless converted, you need a pair of inner tubes. But when we look at your road bike, there's something that you guys need to know. With a road bike, you'll see the valve length would differ. So if you have deep section wheels, that's wheels that are a bit thicker, you'll need a bigger valve for them. Otherwise, you can just buy the normal small valve ones as well. Something I would not suggest you do is, if you have a puncture on your road bike tube, I would suggest rather throw it away and replace it than patching it with a patch. Then next, let's look at what you can use to fix a puncture. First off, if you have a normal mountain bike, you can use the old patch and solution. It will give you some glue to use, or there's new ones on the market that you can actually just patch onto the piece. You don't need any glue and they would dry instantly. This is very nice to have. And before you can use the patch and solution, you'll need some tire levers to actually undo your tire so you can get to the inner tube as well. Then there's a couple of ways that you can pump up your tire. First off, you can use the traditional hand pump. Just make sure that when you buy a hand pump that you rather buy the double action pump that will pump when you push in and pull out as well. That will just help you pump your tire much easier. Then I'd also suggest that you have one of these big pumps at home, as it has a pressure gauge at the top that you can use to see exactly what the pressure of your tire is. You'll see that most people have them around races, in the transition area, and it's very nice and handy to have at home as well. And then if you want to use CO2 instead to fill your tires, this is what you need to know with CO2. There are 3 different sizes out there. You'll get the 25 gram, which is made for mountain bikes, the 16 gram that's made for road bike, and the very old 10 gram as well. Just make sure that you buy the 16 gram if you use a road bike, or the 25 gram if you have a mountain bike. Then very important to know, you'll need an adapter to use the CO2 as well. First, make sure that it's closed before you put in your CO2 at the back. Then once you've done that, you can put the other end on your bicycle valve and then just open to release the CO2. Very important, don't touch this part with your bare hand as it functions as dry ice and it might damage your fingers. So rather use either a glove or there's something specific that you can put over your CO2 that will keep your fingers from burning as well. Then something very important that you need to have with you on either a ride or in a race is some kind of tool that you can use with your bike. This one has a chain breaker on here as well, but it's not necessary for a road bike. But you'll see that there's small tools here that you can use to fix your bike or to tighten something if it will come loose during a race. So this is also a very handy tool, and you'll see that they come in different sizes and shapes. I like this one from Exact as it's very small and does not weigh that much. And then let's quickly look at something that you can do with your mountain bike or road bike as well. You can put some sealant in the insides of your mountain bike or road bike tubes, and this will help them from getting punctures. It's a glue-like substance, and if there's a small puncture, it will quickly fill up and you won't get a puncture as easily. And then if you have a mountain bike with tubeless tires, you can use a plug to fix the puncture. So for that, you'll need 2 types of screwdrivers, the one to puncture the hole a bit bigger and one to use to plug it with. So for that, you'll need small plugs, and then once again you use the plug with this specific tool to fix the puncture. And once again, you can also use your CO2 to pump them up again. Then you can also use a light at the back of your bicycle. So this will just show other people that you're a cyclist and they would spot you easily if you ride out in the dark. Then there's also a couple of lights that you can use if you ride out in the dark. You can either use a headlight that you put on your head or on your helmet, or there's specific lights that you can put on the handlebar of your mountain bike or road bike if you're out cycling at night. Then something that I always carry with me is a packet of tissues. I'll just put it in the back of my cycling jersey, as you never might know what would happen out on a long ride, and there's usually not a loo nearby for you to use. We've already spoken about the cycling computer in one of our previous videos, That's also something that you can put on your bicycle. Then something that I've seen a couple of people carry on their mountain bike as well, I've heard people use it on the road bike as well, is a gap sealant. So how you use this is when you get a puncture, you'll just open it up, put the nozzle into your valve, and then just push, and then there's a glue-like substance that will come out and seal the hole. So this is also very nice to have, that I've seen people use on their mountain bike or their road bike as well. Then something that you can use to lube your chain is squirt. Just remember that there's different types of lubes out there, dry lube and wet lube. I like the squirt one. Once again, I have a small bottle, so I'll just fill the one up, and this one will always be with me when I'm training, and this one will stay at home. Then when you have a cycling computer, there's different types of mounts that you can use. This one is one that you can put on your handlebars and it will go outward, and then you'll just put your Garmin or whatever device you have on top of it. And something interesting that people don't always know, if you buy a road bike or a mountain bike and the reach is a bit far, you don't need to buy a smaller bike. You can just take your stem and make it shorter. This is a very long stem. Usually most bikes come out with 120 or 100 mil stem. This one's 90 mil. Currently on my mountain bike, road bike and TT bike, I have 60 mil or 50 mil stem. And if the reach is too far, you need to shorten your reach. And you do this by replacing your longer stem with a shorter one. They're not that expensive, so it's very cheap to just change that and have a more comfortable ride. Then something that you guys can consider when upgrading as well is a cadence and speed sensor. This is a cadence sensor. It will tell you the revolutions that your legs are making while cycling, and you can put this to your crank arm, but some of them will have a speed and cadence sensor interlinked. And then the third last thing, if you have a mountain bike that has shocks, you can also go and buy yourself a shock pump, and then just go and look on the web what your shock should be pumped up to. And the second last thing, you need to clean your bike at home. So for that, I'll just put some cleaning liquid in a spray bottle and use a towel to clean my bike. And usually you'll need something to let your bike stand on. I like this bike stand from Holdfast that you can use, and just put your bike on this, and then you can also move the pedals and clean the chain and lube it as well, because the backside will not be touching the ground. So this is just a couple of stuff that you guys can buy and keep at home and take with you on training rides. So the last two things that I want to look at today is the different types of saddles that you get with bikes, as well as the different types of tri bars and the nutrition within the tri bars that you can use while cycling or training in races. And then if you move on to saddles, you'll see that there are different types of saddles out there. So first you can have a saddle that does not have that much padding out there. This is a woman specific saddle, and you'll see that it has a lot of padding in there. Then if you look at the tri saddle, you'll see that it has a split nose at the end. That will just help you relieve the pressure on the front side when you're down in your TT position. So after you've decided which type of saddle you want to buy, the most important thing that you need to remember is that saddles have different widths at the back. So you need to go and find out what the width of your backbones are, so you buy the correct saddle width. Otherwise you might get some shaving, and that's very uncomfortable as well. The same with the TT saddle. There's different options out there. I really like the ISM Adamo. I've tried a couple others, but this one really fits me best as well. You'll also get saddles with different lengths as well. So you'll see that some of them might be longer than others. But if you found a saddle that worked for you, stick to it, as your butt would thank you later on. So when we move on to the tri bars, you'll see that there are different types of tri bars out there. But the first thing that I would suggest is, the first upgrade that you make to your bike should be a pair of tri bars. As you spend most of your time on the bicycle, if you take the percentage of time you spend in a triathlon, and being as aero as possible will help you increase your overall average speed. So the first thing I would upgrade to my bike would be a pair of triathlon bars. You'll see that these are different. The first pair on my triathlon bike is more L-shaped, as the ones at the back are a bit more straight. You'll see that there are different types of arm pads or arm rests out there, as well as alloy versus carbon tri bars. Also make sure that you go for a bike fit once you've put on your tri bars, as you need to be as comfortable as possible in your aero position, and that will also help you save some time, because it's no use having some aero bars but you can't stay in them very long. You can change the setup of your tri bars as well to either make them a bit narrow in the inside or they can be wide as well. It will all depend to personal preference as well. Then you can also move the bars to the front and to the back as well to make sure that you have the correct length to grab the front piece of your tri bar as well. The armrest can also move up and down and to the front and the back as well, so make sure that they're also in a position that's very comfortable for you. There's different types of methods that you can use for nutrition. First off, you can have something at the back of your bicycle to put your water bottles in, or you can put them on the down tube of your bicycle as well. But if you look at your tri bar specifically, there's a couple of options that you can use. You'll see I have a pair of Vision tri bar nutrition that will go down, and once again you can also put your bicycle computer on there. Or the profile design one that you can also put in the middle of your tri bars, that's also very nice to have and can also fit your bike mount in front. And then another option that you can use is just to have a mount with a normal water bottle in front. So you can just take out your water bottle and put it back once you're done. You'll also see that I've made a small hack on my bike, as I don't like to fetch the bottles at the back. So I'll have the normal Vision bottle in front, and then instead of having the profile design one on top, I'll just put it here with a normal bottle holder, and I've just extended the strap so it will come up all the way to the other one. So I'll have this one filled with water and I'll have this one filled up with some nutrition. And then when I get to a water point, I'll just take whatever I need and put it into the different two bottles. So this is just a hack that I made for myself, and you're more than welcome to use your own as well. Thank you guys for watching this long and lengthy video. I hope you guys have realized that with cycling, there's much more that I can still tell you. And this is also the part of triathlon where people will spend most of their money as well. So stay tuned, as our next video will be focused on running, and that will be the shortest video, as running does not have that much stuff that you can buy or incorporate into your training. So please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Facebook and Instagram on TriathlontesSA, and go and check out the website at www.triathlontessa.com. Keep up the training, and I'll see you guys soon.